Hello and welcome to Sim.bc, where it is 1846, and at this I was going to say point in time or moment in time, but I couldn't quite decide. So in this pointment of time, I am in school, if you couldn't tell. So yeah, in yet another classroom, just going about because, well, I've been in the school the entire day studying. So if yesterday's video was all about enthusiasm and adrenaline, well, today's video is going to be kind of the opposite to that. I don't know if you can see it, if you can tell, but I'm quite tired at this point in time because, and now I got it right, point in time. Why? Well, because I went up this morning at 7 p.m. Well, I don't quite know. No, it's 7 a.m. So 7 in the morning, right? I was up at 7 in the morning, just going down to my local store, bought some breakfast, headed for the gym, went to the gym. I was all alone in the gym. It was amazing, mate. It was splendid, really. But yeah, so I went to the gym. It was kind of nice. Then I got home, took a shower, and yeah, that was kind of it. Then I got some food and headed straight to school, where I've been for the last, I don't know, 6, 7 hours? I think I got here at like 11, and now, yeah, as you can see, it's soon to be 7. So I've been there for quite a substantial amount of time now, and I'm going to keep being here even after recording this in order to study for my exams, because I have, as I've mentioned, I think I mentioned it, 4 exams next week. On 3 days. Yeah, I know. One is even overlapping. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be all good. Anyway, but what I went through today and what you probably come here to watch is some motivational theories, right? Because we went through this, and you're just going to see if I can move myself out of the way. So there we go. Yeah. We were going through some motivational theories, right? And the motivational theories that we had in today's, well, I wouldn't say lecture, but it wasn't. When we went through the PowerPoints, was contemporary theories of motivation, and it was the goal-setting theory, the equity theory of organizational theory. Wow, that was the equity theory or organizational theory. And then we had the expectancy theory as well. So goal-setting, equity, and expectancy is what we have to work with here. So I'm wondering if I'm gonna go through them all 3 today, or I'm just going to start off with goal-setting theory, move to equity theory tomorrow, and then expectancy theory. We'll see if I have some good, some good experiences to share on this subject. But yeah, going to goal-setting theory. Well, when working with the goal-setting theory, we have something called SMART, which is 5 letters, right? S-M-A-R-T, to actually go through the different components of the theory. And I don't know if you can hear my chair. It's pissing me off, to put it bluntly, because yeah, it makes some sounds and I don't like it. But yeah, so the SMART theory then, or rather the goal theory, is based on SMART, the 5 components. And the SMART is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic or relevant, and timely. And what do I mean with those? Well, this is all about motivation, as I said, and it's all about motivation in conjunction with actually setting a goal for you. So in order for you to actually set a goal to begin with, it needs to be specific. You need to know in the mind, mate. I gotta have an understanding of what is the actual goal. It's gotta be specific, right? Because if it isn't specific, if it's an abstract goal, well, how will you know that you've actually attained it? You know what I mean? You with me? You with me here? Yeah. So it needs to be a specific goal that you can work towards. You're gonna have milestones in it. So a great example of a specific goal is was for me to make 5 videos. Then it was making 10. Then it was making 25. Then it was 50. Now it was 100 yesterday. And then it will be, I think, 150, 175, 200, something like that. So that's a specific goal, something I know I can attain, right? And something that I can work towards attaining, something with milestones where I can tick off, like I'm on my way here, it's tangible, it's workable, I can see it, I can understand it, I can measure it. Moving on then into measurable, as I said, I can measure my progress from yesterday to today. Have I made some progress? Yes, I have. I've made another video. That means that when I was back in the day, back in the day, I moved from video 1 to video 2. That meant I was 20% closer to my goal of 5 videos. So always that measuring, being able to measure where you are going with your goal. So in relation to my goal, how far away am I? Can I measure the different milestones on my way there? And are these milestones and this goal actually attainable? And yes, attainable. Now, most of you will just think like, well, attainable, of course a goal is attainable, that's why it is a goal. But yeah, it's really important to think about when you're setting the goal for yourself, or when you're setting a goal for someone else, or when someone else is setting a goal for you, that you make sure that this is attainable. Why? Well, because if you have a too high of a goal, yeah, you have a goal that is up here whilst you are here, well, it feels like unattainable, doesn't it? And that tends to demotivate people because they're like, oh, I can't reach this. Which will probably mean that they're not even gonna try for it. You know what I mean? If you're a manager and you go in and say, well, mate, I will have you do 600 products today, and the average production speed is, I don't know, 30 per hour, and he works 8 hours. What's that? 30 times 8, 3 times 8 is... if I only was quicker with maths, but yeah, let's say 240, 250 products a day, and you ask him to do 600 that day, it's probably way unattainable because it's too high. It's going to be demotivating for him. He's going to stand there and be like, 600, but I can't do that, you know? And you're just there as a manager and being like, oh, I don't care, just make it happen because my boss told me to tell you, you know, that kind of way. You don't want that. It's better if you like create a team and ask them all, how can we work towards attaining this goal of 600? Can all of you split perhaps 200? Let's make it work, because it needs to be attainable. However, if you put a goal that is way under what they can actually produce, what they can actually achieve, then you've done cooked, mate. Because if you go there and you know that his production, you know, average production is 30, he works 8 hours a day, you know, he can do approximately 240, 250, somewhere around that, and you ask him to do 150. This is probably going to be demotivating in like the opposite way. Either this guy is going to feel like, well, only 150, I can take it easy, mate, I can take it chill, I don't need to work effectively, I can actually work quite ineffective and still reach the goal. Or he will think, or she will think, you know, yes, for convenience, I'm going to say he, or he will think, oh, just 150? But didn't you know I'm able to do 240, 250? And then you're gonna stand there and be like, yeah, but 150 is enough for you. And he might feel like, well, don't you believe in me? Is that why? But so you need to know what is attainable if this person is working efficiently and utilizing their time. Yeah, efficiently. So if this person is working at a, you know, reasonable pace, in consideration with pauses and lunch breaks and whatever and whatnot, and, you know, some 5 minutes here and there when they're going to drift away, because people do. That's not something you can, you know, counter in any way, shape or form, because people are going to drift and you're not going to be effective 100% of the time, even though I'm trying to be. But yeah, most people tend to just say, oh no, we can't do that, we can't be effective 100% of the time. To me, that's a mindset, but I've heard the feedback right on my group works, and nobody can be effective 100% of the time. I get you, right? So you gotta pick something that's attainable. So let's say if this guy can produce 240, 250, say 235, and then he will reach 235 and then work for the 240 that he knows that he can do, and he will feel like, oh, I actually made some progress today, and that might be able to motivate him to reach 250, 255, 260 in this internal competition, or maybe in competition with some other people. That's going into a different thing. But so it needs to be attainable. And yet again, attainable, we kind of touch on realistic. It has to be realistic for the guy, right? Because if it's not attainable, it's probably not realistic in either direction. If it's too low, well, it's not realistic because I can do way better. If it's too high, well, it's not realistic, mate. Not gonna get up there. I'm just not simply not going to. That's like me saying, oh, I'm gonna produce like 40 videos this weekend. That's not realistic. I don't have the time. I don't have the capacity. I probably can't talk for that long, to be honest. Oh, well, I probably could, but you know what I mean. And then timing as well. You need to take into consideration the time span, right? Not only the time span that is going to take to achieve this goal, but the time span that people actually have to attain this goal. Now, that might seem kind of weird, that phrasing. Let me rephrase it. Let's say that it takes 2 weeks to attain this goal. You've calculated it that if people work at the if they work efficiently in the, you know, they do what they can with their time and they work efficiently, they're going to reach this goal within 2 weeks. However, this goal needs to be reached within 1.5 weeks. It's probably going to push it a bit if you think they can manage it within 2 weeks to give it them 1.5 weeks to do it. because that will force them to work overtime, that will force them to work during the weekend, that will not be beneficial for your employees. They will only feel like they're being used and misled. No, what you want to do, right, is that you want to have them, what should I say, you want to distribute the amount of people. You need to like give this team more resources in order to attain this goal, if they need to attain this goal in a shorter amount of time than what you estimated that it would take. Now there are different things establishing what this time frame is that is leading to the project being that long. Sure, that is true. There might be some external factors that no matter how much resources you pump into the team, they will not be able to manage it anyway. But what you need to take into consideration is how long do the team realistically need to have in order to finish the goal, or in order to reach the goal, finish the project, and how much time is it until this project deadline. Now, based on this, do you need to pull away resources because you can, or do you need to apply more resources because they will need it? So that was all about goal must be SMART. So SMART: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic or relevant, and timely. And why I'm saying realistic or relevant is because, yeah, well, it's the same thing. So probably gonna go through equity and expectancy tomorrow then. Either way, but yeah, that was goal setting theory for you about motivation. This was, yeah, probably a fast one. I feel like my energy is draining. Sorry guys if it goes out bad on you, but I hope it was a good video anyway. And yeah, see you tomorrow, mates, with 102, because we're triple digits, mate. Triple digits, mate. Woo! Well, I can't do this, you know. Jesus can, you Family Guy. Am I right? Am I right? But yeah, so have a nice one, mates, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have it.